you going? What are you drinking tonight? Let's keep them flowing. Where do you come from? Where are you going? What are you feeling tonight? And what are you showing? Where do you come from? 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 Where are you going? What are you drinking tonight? Let's keep them flowing.
There we go, and we're live with another edition of the Super PlayStation Bros. Thank you, everyone, for coming by, hanging out with us. I'm joined, as always, by the super co-host, bringing the platinums with him. It's Dorgon. How are you doing today, good sir?
Oh, I am. I'm exhausted, bro. It's been a long week, but that's work. That's nothing to do with this. But outside of that, I'm feeling quite good in life. Things are going the right way. Everything's happy. Don't look out that window. It's very wet. But yeah, life's good, man. Life's good. How is this world, this wonderful life, been treating yourself?
Well, I can't complain other than some typical stresses of life, trying to get a house to live in so I can have a home. And other than that, surviving. We had a long weekend here in Canada, so surviving some time with my friends, which can be exhausting because they don't know what sleep is. And I don't believe in day drinking. So, oh my gosh, it's just been a hectic weekend.
I can imagine. I saw the short that you put up on your channel of the
Oh,
guys' golf club not staying together. What
yeah.
were you guys up to this weekend?
That was just a normal golf swing, and it's crazy that he went to film just that swing. So pretty epic to see. If you haven't seen it already, on the drive, the head detaches from the shaft. But it's cool to see. 18 holes was way too much for me. Oh my gosh, I was exhausted by the end of it. But other
One of
than
those
that,
for me.
gaming on some Stellar Blade, and even got access to Hellblade 2. So I've been peeping
Ooh.
behind the curtain on the other side, which will eventually be PlayStation, as we know through Project Latitude. So if anything, I'm getting a insider look into new games coming to PS5.
Indeed, yeah. It would be shocking if it didn't come to PlayStation 5. The original was a timed exclusive for PlayStation 4. So I would be very shocked if they wanted to miss out on the player base that fell in love with that game on this side of the curtain, as you're calling it, and not sell to them eventually. It's obviously going to be a timed exclusive. Xbox needs a reason to have you over there, but I'd be surprised if it didn't come over. I watched you playing it yesterday, and graphically, it's incredible. I don't think I've ever seen a game look like that. But from your gameplay, it felt a little flat compared to the original, and I don't know if that's just because I'm watching it, not playing it.
Well, I will say this. Either Restream is broken or we have over 100 people tuning in from multiple different platforms. So what up to everybody? This is Super PlayStation Bros. I'm Rudiggs, this is Dorgon, and we're going to go over everything that happens in PlayStation this week. We're always here at the same time, so be sure to check us out every single week. But without that, what's going on? People live in chat on the YouTubes. We got SPG, Ray, Phoenix, Neil, all of our favorites. Thanks for coming in and hanging out with us. we are going to get into some PlayStation news without me getting flustered here. Dorgon, before that, what have you been playing on? You've been booting up the
Uh,
PlayStation, haven't you?
a distinct lack of gaming, actually. It's been very, very busy. I was out all weekend doing all sorts of stuff. Went to see my mum because she turned 71 this month. So I took her birthday present over to her, got her to book that in. I bought her a nice pamper session, as you do. She was really excited about that one. So spent some time with her. I also went to see Bruce Dickinson live in concert. That was an incredible experience. I may have slightly cried during Tears of the Dragon. It's my favorite song of all time. He played it live. It was absolutely incredible, and all of my emotions from like the last 20 plus 25 years or something like that really swelled up and overflowed. So I've not had a lot of time to game. When I have been gaming, it's been on Big Shots VR, which I'm going to be doing a video for at some point for the developers. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. I'm also playing a bit of Destiny because it's just fun. And Animal Well dropped on PS Plus last week. It's only like a 4.5 hour, 5 hour game, something like that one to get to the end and roll credits. Obviously, a lot longer if you want to 100% it. But that is showing up things like, say, Hellblade that we were talking about. The graphics don't matter, it's all about the gameplay, whereas the other side of it is the graphics matter, it's not about the gameplay. And I feel like the two sides of the coin, and we need to meet somewhere in the middle for gaming. But yeah, absolutely great game. But that's basically been it, because I've not been home. It's hard to game when you're not near your gaming station.
Well, still some decent titles, regardless. I've been wanting to jump into Animal Well, and as you said, you spend an hour walking around with a torch in your hand, lighting different pedestals. They change it up with the torch to a ball. You got to walk around, and it's almost plays like a tech demo in some aspects. And I feel like
Yeah.
a game is a game, and that's where gameplay comes in. So I wholeheartedly agree we need to meet in the middle somewhere. But let's jump into what's been going on in PlayStation this week, because I'm sure everybody wants to hear about it and what we got to say about this week's news. The first one coming up, I want to discuss about the PlayStation Showcase because I know that is
Okay.
the title of the show. Now, the PlayStation Showcase is still due to happen in May. So we're predicting that it's going to happen next week, or you know what? It could even possibly happen tomorrow. We don't know as of yet, but best prediction is it's next week. New information says that Sony is going to announce after its corporate strategy meeting on May 22nd. So, right now, currently, they're having a corporate strategy meeting. And so, as per the tradition of Super PlayStation Bros, they are waiting for our podcast to end so they can announce the PlayStation Showcase news. So, if you are a shareholder, you will have access to the corporate strategy meeting. And then from there, they will be announcing, what is coming with the showcase, when that's going to be. So almost immediately after it'll be announced. And then long-term plans are on the agenda for the corporate strategy meeting today, and the leaker is Nate Drake, an insider that confirms that Sony still likes May for the showcase. So that is what we know right now. This is a little bit, we don't get to know very much too far ahead. So this is the best we got.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, Sony have this thing, PlayStation have this thing right now of half an hour after we finish our show, they will tell you all of the cool information, whether that's the next PS Plus games for either Essential or Extra and Premium, whether that is the next showcase or the next big thing. Like every single time, any big news is announced half an hour after we finish. So we will likely find out today when the showcase is. If they announce it today, I'm expecting it to be tomorrow. They did that last time. It was a day before that they announced it, so I'm very much expecting it to be a tomorrow thing. If they don't announce it today, I'm expecting next Thursday. They tend to do these on a Thursday more recently. And then this should be the catapult into this mega second half of the PS5 generation that we're meant to be getting. I do think things are going to be evolving and things are going to be changing. There's a few job listings up at the moment. So there's one for something about head of mobile platform or something. So they're still looking at like freemium games along the lines of Genshin Impact for mobile phones, direct from Sony first party studios, which will be absolutely amazing if that comes. It brings more people on board. They are talking about cloud a lot as well, expanding the cloud gaming reach and its stability, its ability. They've made moves to get like really good engineers in-house to work on making high latency networks work well with cloud gaming and cloud video. So there's a lot of moves being made. The shareholder meeting is going to be very interesting from a long-term perspective, but for us gamers, we need something short-term. There's no first-party games on the horizon. Stellar Blade is released. I don't know if there's any third-party exclusives on the horizon. So yeah, we need that short-term. We need that showcase. We need to hear what is going to happen.
Stellar Blade is also extremely epic, I will say. Fast combat speed, intriguing story, rewarding difficulty levels.
It's already out. You can buy it. We don't know what's coming next. We need that
I know,
excitement as well.
but if you haven't played it, it's aces. If you're a fan of Sekiro, it is Sekiro-esque combat, but with more open world aspects and side quests. So
Impressive.
definitely something huge. I think what we'll see is more of Hellblade's sort of predecessor, or which is Baby Steps. I think they're two very similar games. So I think we'll be seeing that on the showcase and being announced, but we'll see. Yeah, yeah. Hellblade is Baby Steps, but with better graphics, bro. Can't you see the comparison?
I am I'm questioning more how your mind works here more than anything else.
I saw Baby Steps on the screen above, and that's what I was saying. I'm like, oh my gosh, is it Baby Steps, but with better graphics? You can just walk around to different things, right?
Your
Oh,
brain,
remember?
it flummoxes me, bro. It really does. I love it. It keeps me on my toes.
Well, let's get into the news. PS6 might have an ARM CPU, Sony suggests, because of a job advertisement. Oh my gosh, Espresso. Come on, buddy. Right now.
Doggo wants what Doggo wants. We
There's a dog
abide by
barking.
Doggo timetable.
There's a dog barking on the TV. What's up, Sanchez Gaming? Thanks for coming on by. He thinks that we need more foam stars. Wolverine this year. No, I believe Wolverine is 2026, if I'm not mistaken. And then we have Days Gone 2 announcement. I do not think so. But yes.
Days Gone 2 is not happening. It will never happen. That has been said multiple times by both Bend and Sony. So you got to keep dreaming for that one. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah. Sony is considering switching to the CPU architecture for the PS6. Apparently, this architecture is going to allow them to have more capabilities in operating different systems for their games. So I believe even Xbox is looking at transitioning to this. We see Microsoft as well as Apple even transitioning to the ARM architecture. So what I'm reading here seems to be like this is the way going forward. But yeah, we're just reporting on possible rumors. And if it is right, like the Lego Horizon rumor, which I called was a video game, I think we'll see ARM architecture for the next CPUs.
Highly likely. These things are ARM architecture. Mobile phones, doesn't matter whether you're on iOS or Android, they are ARM architecture. Qualcomm have just released a new chipset, which is going in the new Surface tablets and the new Surface laptops, which is ARM architecture. It's called the Snapdragon X Elite or something along those lines, and it is outperforming M3 MacBooks. The MacBooks, M3s, M4s, that they're all ARM architecture and they're incredibly powerful. The reason you want to go for ARM is its efficiency. The power that you get out of a mobile phone, the things that you could do with a mobile phone. For example, I run my entire YouTube channel from it. So I film the stuff, I edit the stuff, I script the stuff, I upload the stuff, I render it in 4K, all on this. It all happens here. And that is an incredible thing to do on a single chip. So that gives you an idea of how powerful and how efficient ARM architecture is from what this can do. This can also run AAA games, whether it's doing it natively, whether it's doing it via Winulator. You can run Fallout 3 on this really well. You can do things like Genshin Impact. You can do things like Bright Memory. You can play things like PUBG in 120 frames per second on one of these. So ARM has a lot of capability. What we haven't had in the past is companies supporting ARM, companies like Windows, companies like Linux, companies like, or platforms, should I say, like Mac and such. They've not supported the ARM architecture because it's been too complicated, or they've not understood it. And as Microsoft have discovered themselves, now that they're moving over to it for Surface and such, they should have stuck with the ARM architecture and the Windows mobile platform, because that would have given them a leg up at this point in history. But Intel recently released GPUs for PCs based on the ARM architecture, and they have improved out of sight to start catching and even overtaking the same year offerings from AMD and NVIDIA. And AMD are who currently power the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X on the x86 architecture. So if we can get similar performances or better performances and more efficiencies out of ARM architecture for future console generations, and of course, if we're looking at like cross-platform stuff, so we're looking at things being developed for mobile and for PC as well, both of which are now running on ARM as well, it does just make life that little bit easier for your developers. They have to design for one type of architecture, then just little bits around that need porting out. So I see it as a good thing. I think it is a highly likely scenario, just judging on what ARM can do currently. I would not be surprised if this were true at all. In fact, I almost hope it is.
Yep. And like many rumors, because this is a PlayStation podcast where we go over news, rumors, and leaks. Sometimes they come into the light, and sometimes they don't. But another one which we called on this show months ago is the new PSP. That's right. We have another rumor on development that PlayStation Portable is getting a sequel. It'll have the ability right now to run PS4 games, which I believe is the same rumor that the Switch 2 has. Are these the same device? I don't think so, but who knows? Maybe it'll be a Sony Nintendo collaboration. I know, who
that did give us the original PlayStation, so I'm not above it.
calling it here. Calling it here. We're getting the Sony Switch. That's gonna that's gonna be coming up next.
I don't think we're quite going that far, and I'm almost agreeing with Ray's clown emojis in the chat here on that one. PSP is great. I love the PSP. I love the PS Vita. I love aspects of the Portal. It just doesn't work well enough as a remote connection device. It needs to have some form of direct connection to your console, whether that's Wi-Fi direct or Bluetooth direct. It needs a more direct option because it's not good enough as is. But having a native handheld, the Switch has proven it, the Steam Deck has proven it, the Asus ROG Ally, the Lenovo Legion Go. There's so many different high quality handheld devices out there that you can play on. But I want a smaller one. I was talking about this with my partner the other day, and she was saying, like, oh, they're not handhelds, though, are they? They're portable, but they're not handheld consoles, these things, because you need a bag for them. Whereas you used to be able to take your PSP or your Nintendo DS and slip them in a pocket and then just carry on with your day. They'd fit next to your mobile phone. Granted, phones were a lot smaller back then, but yeah, I'd like a PSP that fits in a pocket. I think that would be a big selling point for it and a big positive, especially if it is running PlayStation 4 games natively. Okay, might be a bit cramped in terms of screen size, in terms of controls, but we've managed for 30 plus years since the original Game Boy with smaller handhelds that go into pockets. bring it on.
Yeah, so we have here the original story was brought up in February due to Moore's Law is Dead, which is a YouTube channel who claimed the system was in very early production. Why we're bringing it up again is that a recent report seems to suggest claims that the Sony's rumored handheld is being able to run PS4 games, and that is correct. So that's why it's more relevant news here. It seems to be another development, and we'll keep bringing you these developments as they progress. But another one for the Super PlayStation Bros as being correctamundo.
Although Phoenix has pointed out some of my wording wasn't great in chat.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so I've just undersold my my how do I say this politely? My faculties, should I say?
Oh, oh, no, I wasn't even thinking that. Chat, come on. We are above board here, all right? Everybody who has...
This is your
Yes,
chat. This is your channel. I
yes.
am. The proof says otherwise.
This is the PlayStation podcast. Here it is. We're part of the Pony Club, right? PlayStation ponies. Ponies are stacked, bro. Ponies are stacked. All right. We ain't got nothing to be ashamed of. All right. That's one of the biggest animals in the kingdom right there. So proud to be a pony. Proud to be packing.
It's always Miss Phoenix. Wibble will back me up on this one. It's always Miss Phoenix.
Oh. All right. Well, before this
Yeah, shall
chat
we move on?
devolves, let's talk about a new suite of games coming to PlayStation. This is a bit of older news, but I don't think we got to it last week. If you haven't heard about Project Latitude, okay, let's stop the Good Burger commercial. Project Latitude will bring more games to PlayStation consoles after the success of Sea of Thieves. They're obviously looking to bring forward more games to the PlayStation 5. Halo, Gears of War, all of these are being talked about bringing on over. And I'm all for it. However, I think this will hurt the next series of Xboxes, being as they will be the third party choice where PlayStations will be able to yield not only PlayStation exclusives, but it'll also give you the console experience of Xbox games as well. So I feel like you'll just get even more of an offering on the PlayStation side when it comes to Project Latitude. At this point, you're not missing out on anything on the console side if you're on a PlayStation.
I mean, you are missing out on the Nintendo exclusives, but
Yeah. Yep, my bad.
That's always been the case.
That's
always
the Nintendo.
had. Yeah, we've always had separate platforms, and these separate platforms always have their pros and cons, always have their exclusives and the third parties and the mix and matches. And I kind of wish we still had a lot of that. I love playing Hi-Fi Rush on my PlayStation because it is a better experience than playing it on my Xbox, just down to the DualSense controller. Nothing more than that. The DualSense is an incredible controller, and the feedback that you get in that game from that controller is so much better than you got through a third party or an Xbox controller on the original release. And if they continue to implement that on their other games that come across, those games are going to be better on the PlayStation platform. But I do long for Xbox having something for themselves, having something that isn't anywhere else. And right now, it's just talk. It's high-level talk within Microsoft, and it is Microsoft having the talks, not Xbox, about nothing being red taped. What that essentially means is nothing's off the table, nothing is unavailable to be ported to other platforms. So you could see Gears, you could see Halo, you could see Hellblade, you could see everything on PlayStation in the future following the success of the games that have already come across. There is nothing confirmed. There are internal fightbacks from the likes of Phil Spencer about this because he knows that exclusivity does matter to a degree. I wholeheartedly agree that exclusivity matters. I think it should still be a thing. I think it is what differentiates platforms from one another, and it is what keeps competition growing. But I also get that they've got such a small market share. They've pushed so hard with Game Pass. They want people to be able to play everywhere. That is what their shift in narrative was around 2016 after the failure of the Xbox One launch. So this is the logical next step in Xbox's game publishing arm. And we'll have to wait and see if any of it comes true. Right now, nothing more is coming across than the 4 that we've already got. But if more does come, it's great for gamers on the PlayStation side, but as you say, it will most likely hurt Xbox's next platform, which they are talking about, which is apparently launching next year. But yeah, it's weird situation. I believe in exclusivity. I think it is a positive thing for the industry, and I know that's going to rub a lot of people the wrong way, but I don't want every Xbox game on PlayStation, and I don't want every PlayStation game on Xbox, or every Nintendo game everywhere. There should be lines
There
in the
should
road
be
that things don't cross.
rules. That's why I am married and not polygamist. All right? This is why we have rules. All right.
Where is your brain today?
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's exclusivity.
I'm
And
not sure
Xbox is over here being like, throw your keys in the bowl, PlayStation. Come be with us. And PlayStation's like, no, we are fine with our games. All right. We don't need to mix it and spice it up. All right. But PlayStation, I don't know. That's just how it seems to be out there.
I know it's only 10 a.m. where you are, but have you been drinking?
No, I have not. No, but I had my coffee
Even
this
chat's
morning,
getting worried.
and I had a double. I've been experimenting with my Nespresso machine. I always hit the single short, but now I hit the long, and I feel like the long gives me like the full cup of coffee almost, of espresso.
So this is what an actual awake Rudix is like for Super PlayStation Brothers. Is that what we're saying?
Oh my gosh, my hair. Yeah, no, my hair talks. My hair is an echo of my emotions, essentially. That's what Hannah says.
Why do you think this is on today? My hair is terrible. I've had a headset on all day for calls at work. I've got a literal dent in the middle of my head, so I had to put the hat on just to hide the hair. Do you want a hat? I can send you a hat.
Hats don't really work all too well. I got too much hair, but we'll see. Oh yeah,
We'll get
yeah.
you something.
I couldn't get a yarmulke on my head. That was an odd one. But let's get into
We're off topic here.
more news here. Grand Theft Auto 6 gets a fall release of 2025, and my big question is who will get the marketing rights? And this is important because this is a generational switch between consoles. And here I have on screen a lot of PS4 owners have yet to upgrade to PS5 because they still are able to experience Minecraft, Fortnite, and GTA 5 all on their PS4. So to make that switch doesn't make sense unless you're jumping to the next game, and what game sells consoles more than Grand Theft Auto. So I think the marketing rights for this game are going to be extremely important. And my reasoning why Xbox will not go for the marketing rights on GTA is because they already blew their load. They already spent $77 billion in acquisitions. I don't think they can justify going out there and going after marketing rights on a non-internal studio when they already bought Diablo, Call of Duty, Bethesda, ZeniMax, all that stuff. They have those priorities to make first. So this is where I think we are going to be moving, and I think locking these marketing rights will excel PS5 console sales even more into the future. Dorgon, do you have any thoughts on this one? Because I rambled.
I think you're right, but I think your reasoning is wrong. The reason marketing will go to Sony is there's more PlayStations. We know that the PlayStation has outsold the Xbox 3 this generation. And if you've got your big marquee game, where are you going to advertise? You're not going to advertise at PC. PC players, they get everything from Steam. So as long as you're selling it on Steam, they're going to buy it. Doesn't matter. Otherwise, your marketing is going to be platform specific, as we've seen with the likes of Call of Duty, as we've seen with the likes of Diablo and such before they were bought out. That was a lot of PlayStation marketing, not so much Xbox marketing, despite the sale going through. And it's because it's the bigger platform. It's the bigger basis of where players are. Those are the guys who you want on board playing the game and giving you word of mouth marketing, which they do by playing it, by streaming it, by showing how good it performs on that platform. It is good for the game sales, it is good for the platform sales. And I do think that if it is next year and it is Sony marketing, I do believe it will be the point that people start to shift to this generation. Because as you say, just looking at that one that you've got there, that more than half of all PlayStation players are still on PlayStation 4, it's because they don't need to move to PlayStation 5. You've got so few PlayStation 5 exclusive experiences. You've got Returnal, you've got Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, you've got Spider-Man 2, you've got... I'm really struggling to come up with more. Everything else, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, they're on PlayStation 4. Everything that we have had in terms of the Call of Duties, in terms of a lot of third-party titles, they're on PlayStation 4 because it's where people are. It's where your biggest audience is, so people are going to continue selling there. If GTA 6 is a next-generation only game, that's going to start to be the big shift because that's the one that a lot of people want to play that they've been waiting 2 console generations for at this point. And if that is this generation only, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, that's going to start shifting a lot of people from the old generation to the new generation because they will need to play the game that they want to play.
Yep, it's going to be the shift, and what shifts more than Grand Theft Auto? I guess that's the big one to do it. Also, I think at that time we may have Call of Duty also switched to next gen only, so that may be a big pull for gamers as well from that end. But let's jump into the next story, which you brought to me, and I'm not too familiar on. So maybe I'll let you take the lead on this one. But I'm not a mobile gamer. I'm not all for like the clicking and the button pushing and the flicking and swishing, and that's my gameplay. I like a controller in my hand. So this doesn't necessarily appeal to me, but obviously the market is there. The numbers are undeniable. Yeah, the flicking and the swishing. All right, I'm trying to play Pokemon Go with my siblings the other day, and I'm like sitting there, oh my god, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous trying to do that.
You just get your curveball and loop it.
No, look at that.
In the middle of the circle, get you an excellent throw. And
that
off
was
you go.
muscle memory right there. You were like,
yeah, that was.
That is
Far too many hours.
Yeah.
There's been many a community day walking around different like food markets with Wibblesniff, just buying nice food and catching Pokemon. It's a nice get out game, Pokemon Go, but that's Nintendo, not Sony. So yeah.
Let's talk about Sony Mobile.
Let's talk about Sony. This is that job listing I was alluding to earlier about the whole mobile strategy, ARM being a big part of PlayStation's future. And just because they're going to be on mobile doesn't mean that they won't have controller input, especially when you've got a PlayStation branded backbone controller available. So there is the possibility that you'll get fully fledged games on Android, on iOS from PlayStation Studios. To do that, they need someone who knows how mobile works, the best ways to market on mobile, the best ways to create mobile titles, the best ways to do that freemium type game. So what's the free access level? Where do they have to pay? And how do you entice them to pay even more for, say, a mobile game than they would for a full-fledged AAA title? It's a very interesting position. And when it's paired with that whole rumor of moving to ARM for the next console, it says there's a major push here because you can have cross development. So you can have things like Genshin. Genshin Impact is available on PlayStation 5. It's also available on my mobile phone. And I can have cross-save, I can have cross-progression, I can have cross-play with players from PC and Xbox and everywhere. So if you've got someone coming in and you're creating games that will work and are exclusive from your studios on both mobile and your console, that's going to start raking some big bucks in as long as they hit a successful like gate, a successful. I'm trying to think of a word and failing miserably here, but momentum, that's the one. Successful momentum. If they keep that, they'll rake it in. So this is Sony really pushing hard with that mobile, really being serious about it, and I think it lends credence to the earlier one of them developing for ARM in the future. It's positive because it means more games in more places from studios and franchises that we absolutely love. And you may have to get used to swishing and flicking, or you may be lucky and be able to use one of these.
My dog is distracting me, but I look forward to mobile. Yeah, who's a good boy? All right. Hey, if I have a
That's it, it's his show
backbone,
now.
it probably won't be too bad. I'm not a huge fan of the small screen. I like my bigger screens.
You've got a 7-inch screen on your phone.
Yeah, it's too small to play games.
The Portal's only an 8-inch screen. There's an inch difference.
Yeah, I don't have a Portal, right? And not
You can't compare.
One thing that I
We're
think
back to
we can,
sizes again, aren't we?
yeah. Ray, 8 inches is respectable. Jesus, Chad, come on.
It's a bit more than respectable.
Exactly.
Anyhow, moving on.
Congratulations, you've received 100 messages today with Restream Chat. Well, thank you, Restream, for giving us a little trophy there. And thank you, everyone out there in chat. You have been absolutely amazing today. And thank you, everyone, for coming in and watching us as well. You guys are also epic. Be sure to come in and check us out every week at this time. Be sure to check our socials linked in the YouTube chat below. That would be also very epic. Otherwise, thanks for coming on by. And let's get back into the news stories. Assassin's Creed Shadows reveal the trailer is already the most disliked in the series. I think I have one thing to say here is that I do not understand the haters. I honestly thought it was an excellent art direction, fantastic historical telling. And people need to chill. If this is the voice of the internet, then perhaps the voice of the internet is not very nice and needs to be put down on the volume a little bit. Because I don't think this is representative of how most gamers feel about what they saw in the Assassin's Creed reveal. But yeah, how do you feel?
I think that's the problem for people like me, most gamers. Assassin's Creed is not a series for most gamers. It is a series for science fiction enthusiasts who like stealth gameplay and historical settings. That is what Assassin's Creed built its identity on, and we've not had that since 2018. Like 2018 really undid all of that for the series, and we started to move back towards it with Mirage, and then we're moving away from it again with Shadows. The big problem for long-time fans, existing fans of the series with Shadows is it's a CG trailer. We're in 2024. Give us gameplay immediately. There is no need for a CG trailer because it does nothing. None of us look at that and go, wow, that looks amazing. It's, oh, you can animate well. What about the game behind it? Like, you look at God of War Ragnarok, you look at Ghost of Tsushima. They used gameplay more than 80% of the time. It was only those very initial releases, years before they were coming out, those very initial trailers that were CG. And even then, they were still a better representation of what that final product would be. If you look at Valhalla's CG trailer from 2020, which was 6 months before it launched, they're nothing alike. None of that gameplay, none of the action that happens in that trailer happens in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And this is the problem. They're showing off so many cool things in this CG trailer that are not going to be there in the final product. And it doesn't help that all of the information that then came out alongside that trailer about the microtransactions, about the battle passes, about having to pay additional money to get access to additional missions and gameplay on day one. They just shot themselves in the foot. They gave us something that we didn't ask for. They gave us something that we didn't want. And then they ruined it further by saying, oh, you've got to spend nearly £300 to get everything on day one. Or you're going to be spending that over the course of the next 5 years on this one game. Those are the legitimate issues with it. And they are completely legitimate. They are my thoughts on it. I think it looks absolutely awful. I don't get why anyone would buy into the hype for such a bad looking trailer. But a lot of it has come from blatant white supremacy, thinking they know better, that they're raging against the black character who was actually a real historical person. Yasui was a slave taken over to Japan who became a retainer for the shogun and a samurai. He was real. You can't say it's not historically accurate when he's a historically accurate real character. Like, to the point he's been in so many games. He was in Sekiro. He was actually in Sekiro Shadows Die Twice as well. We don't know much about the character, which is great. It means you can add this fictional world on around him, some characteristics.
Where was he in Sekiro?
He was one of the bosses with the big bear.
What?
Or was that Neo? It's either Sekiro or Neo. I do apologize if I've got that wrong.
Yeah, I think that may be
one
Neo.
of those games.
I know Sekiro very well.
Yeah, so he's in that game as well as a boss, and people hating on it because he exists, a real person exists. I've got no time for those people. But for everybody who's got legitimate concerns about it and thinks it looks awful from that trailer, which I'm one of them, it's got every right to be downvoted, and I do think it's going to be one of the worst the series has ever seen.
They're saying that he may be the long swordsman, and somebody who gives you a long speech and sort of introduces you to the game. Oh, he could be in Sekiro. I don't know. I'll have to look more into that. That's pretty cool if that is him.
So yeah, he's in a few games. He's a real person. I hate people who are hating on it for that the outrage is all wrong, but there is reason to be outraged.
Now, I'm on the other side of the coin of this. It looks epic.
You're wrong. I'm just saying epic. It now. You're wrong.
Okay, one, Shinobi. Shinobis are awesome. I think that's awesome that you get to be that stealth, quick kill thing situation. And two, the samurai is like that slow combat stuff I probably won't even use. I'm honestly just excited to go through that game as a shinobi. And not to mention, you don't really need to pay that much to get into it. You can just sign up for Ubisoft Plus, which is like $17 a month, and then you can play all the DLC, everything included. If it takes you 2 months to get through it, you still save. It's cheaper than getting the game, than going in and out of the subscription. So I think there is ways to play this on the cheap, and I'm on the side
per month, yeah?
that is excited.
So $17.99 per month. If we take the base game at the 150, 200 hours that the last two games have been at, that's going to take the average gamer 3 to 4 months to sort out. So for the base game, via Ubisoft Plus, you're still paying $71.96, $1.96 more than if you just bought it outright. You mentioned getting all of the DLC included in that as well. The DLC for Valhalla released over the course of 3 years. So if we go for $17.99 times 12 times 3, that's then costing you $650. I don't think there's a cheap way into this game.
Yeah, I play games pretty quickly.
It's all right for you, Mr. Self-Employed, can do what he wants.
But other than that, yeah, I get it. It's the pinnacle of their pricing schemes and monetization. However, there is a base price. You don't need all the flashiness. And for Assassin's Creed enthusiasts, I think it's an interesting direction to take. Valhalla, despite the criticisms, is one of their best-selling games to date, and I think this will do just as well, if not better.
It is one of the best-selling games, and that's the problem. Assassin's Creed isn't made for everybody. It's not made to be a best-selling game. It was made to be a very specific artistic direction, and this is where old-school fans like me butt heads with people like Sanchez in chat for thinking that Odyssey is absolutely amazing. For me, it's one of the worst games ever made. It's a terrible RPG, for one. Like, if you actually start to tear it apart and understand how it's made, it's god-awful. And it's an even worse Assassin's Creed game. But there's lots of people who like it, but that's the problem. It shouldn't be made for all those people who don't like Assassin's Creed being Assassin's Creed. It should be a completely different game made for a different subset of fans and people. And this is the issue I'm having with Shadows. It's being made for that different subset that are not Assassin's Creed fans. And what do I get then? Where do I stand? I've been abandoned by the franchise that I so loved for getting on for 7 years.
People change, franchises change. That's why there's From Software.
That's why Watch Dogs died. It changed.
But let's not get too doom and gloom, because there is a predecessor to Assassin's Creed Red that is absolutely destroying the Steam's top-selling paid game as it soars past Hades 2 and Helldivers 2. The PC release of Ghost of Tsushima is off to a very strong start for Steam. Impressive, amazing to see. And there you have it. Ghost of Tsushima is taking off, and I see it myself. The photo mode for this game is all throughout my feed. People are taking pictures and really enjoying this game. However, if you're a fan of the Assassin's Creed formula, this is very much in that vein. It takes from open map, checklist type of gameplay. Your open world, you have your horse and your different fighting stances as you take on your average or sort of this Mongol invasion, right, at a historic point.
Such a good game. I've returned. Forgot to say, I've been playing a bit of Ghost of Tsushima recently. I've been back in the Legends mode because Phoenix has just started playing it in chat. Her fellas started playing it. Whipple has been playing it on PC, and oh my days, it looks incredible on PC. It's like other level. It was already gorgeous on the PlayStation 4. Then we got the PlayStation 5 version, which looked even better, and now there's the PC version. Oh god, this game is so stunning. There is nothing else that looks as beautiful as it. I don't think anything has come out that looks this level of artistic beauty. And I am so glad so many more people are getting to experience this. I'm so glad they're able to run it at such incredible levels. I'm glad some folks are able to play it on their Xbox, because you can actually play it through Boosteroid Cloud Gaming by the install section, through the browser on a Series X or S. The problem you face that Wibble has highlighted to me is it should be played with a DualSense controller, because simple things that were just so intuitive and so like impactful on the PlayStation don't exist on Xbox controllers, don't exist on other PC controllers, definitely don't exist on mouse and keyboard. And it's something simple like the guiding wind, the wind that tells you where you're going. On PlayStation, it's just a swipe of the touchpad, whereas on Xbox, you have to hold down what would be the options button on PlayStation, and then hold a direction. And it just takes away from the seamless immersion that game brings with a proper PlayStation controller. So I'd say a DualSense, because the haptic feedback and resistive triggers are incredible in the director's cut, but even a DualShock 4 would give you a better experience than you would get on any other form of input. I think that's the only sort of downside with playing on a different controller, but the game is incredible. It's not surprising at all. It's top of Steam sales. It is that good. And even 4 years after, we're still talking about it. It's that good. Assassin's Creed Shadows has just been announced, and it is immediately being compared to Ghost of Tsushima. And most of those commentaries are saying it's not even going to be good. That is the quality of the game we're talking about here.
And that could be one of the games that we see on the showcase next week. A long time rumored Ghost of Tsushima 2. So be sure to stay locked in because we do believe that will be showcased, at least in some form or another. And now for the PC users, the PSN overlay has now been added to Steam. People can now send in all of their complaints. Yes, an overlay has been provided to you. So this is what stems a lot of turmoil in the Helldivers debate. But like we see with other publishers, this will be the way moving forward. And I like these little directories. It'll connect you to everything PlayStation, which means you'll probably see me online. So that's a good thing for any PC users.
It's really good. I've seen Wibblesniff coming online. He actually sold his PlayStation, so he doesn't own a PlayStation. And I've been seeing him come online on PlayStation. I've been seeing him play Legends mode through my PlayStation interface, through my PlayStation app interface. It seems really good. It seems quite simplistic at the moment, especially from what I believe it's Tom Warren, this one, is saying. It's a basic overlay that allows you to earn trophies and connect with PlayStation Network friends. But isn't that kind of what you want? You just want it to be simplistic and cool and easy to use. It looks great. I'm glad we've got this integration. It does make a little bit of crossplay a little bit easier on occasion. Don't get me wrong, crossplay still not superb for Ghost of Tsushima at the moment. They do need to roll out a few patches that way, but yeah, it's nice update. And as you say, everybody else does it. Stop moaning about PlayStation doing it. You have to log into Epic to play Fortnite on any platform. You have to log into Ubisoft to play their games on any platform. You have to log into EA on any platform to play their games. You have to log in. You have to log into both a Microsoft and Bethesda account to play Redfall. I mean, come on, that can only be played on a Microsoft platform, and you have to log into both. So, we don't complain about it with any other game. We don't complain about it with any other publisher. Let's stop complaining about it with Sony and PlayStation as well. Get it over yourselves.
Exactly. Now I know you have a lot going on today, so let's quick fire through these PlayStation blog stories that I have on the roster today. Share of the week is landscapes. So if you hadn't submitted already, be sure to check these out. Unfortunately, I did not get selected for my share of the week. And again, because I'm bringing this to you on the last day, the next theme is mythical. So submit by end of day today with the hashtag PSShare and PSBlog. I'll definitely be checking out to see if I have something mythical in my backlog that I want to submit for this. So I like these little contests. One day I will get recognized and be on here, and I'll be bringing it to you on Super PlayStation Bros. Mark my word.
One day, my friend. One day.
Actually, the share of the week that I did was from Ghost of Tsushima. That was my landscape.
Yes, it was. I did see that.
It was Icky Island.
Beautiful shot.
Yeah, on
Absolutely
the waterfall
gorgeous, yeah.
here. Let's see if I can bring it up here right here. Yeah, there it is. Come on.
Incredible shot.
That's not a winner. That's not a winner, PlayStation. Come on, what you doing out here?
I've seen some of them though.
Yeah.
There was one. It had the whole of Tsushima in the background essentially, but the foreground was just Jin's hand raking through the grass, and it was just like, exceptional shot. Like I could
that
not
wasn't
compose
this
that
week
in real
though.
life. I'm pretty sure that was, or somebody recreated it for this week, did their own version of it. It looked like there's so much stuff that is.
I mean, this one, Artful Escape, okay, whatever. Ellie glazing out on a lush mountain. Come on, mine's better than that. This one,
I just hit save. I don't even compose them. I just hit save.
And how did you even get this in Stellar Blade? Like, there is no photo mode. Stellar Blade needs a photo mode. All right, this was supposed to be a quick fire, and I'm diving down the rabbit hole. Dave the Diver free Godzilla DLC arrived May 23rd. Absolutely very long game. I did not realize how much I'd need to do. I spent like maybe a little bit every single night for weeks, and then like after 3 weeks, it said, "You're done chapter 1." And I was like, what? So
It
now I'm
has
on
been
to,
out on
yeah.
other platforms for a long time. There's been a lot added to it. It's just fresh to PlayStation. So you've got years of content to be catching up with.
Apparently, I'm still, I don't know, midway through chapter 2. I don't know. It's taken a while, but Godzilla DLC coming out for free, and it's part of PS Plus. So definitely one I'd recommend. Super relaxing. It gives me Moonlighter vibes, the way you farm and fish and then go out and sell it in an overcooked like situation.
Yeah, very good game. Highly recommended. Same. Crack on. Godzilla as well. Huh.
I don't know what they'll do with Godzilla. It seems that he'll either be fighting for you or against you. I don't even know what this sub is. I haven't run into being a sub, but it reminds me of the battles in Cuphead when you're an airplane. So I do look forward to that if it's a situation.
I'm with Neil on this one. I'm thinking we're going to make Godzilla sushi.
Oh, just cut a little piece off. It seems
Yeah,
like
it's
he's
like a
fighting.
permanent, like.
Seems like he's fighting on our side against a giant crab, but I'll have to play to see what happens.
Bring us updates as you get them. Live from
Uh,
the front line.
Night Dive Studios System Shock Remake launches May 21st on PlayStation 5. I have played it. System Shocks from Night Dive Studios is Doom 64 experience, but you're playing Cyberpunk. So that
Yeah,
is
this
the
is
best
what
way to describe it.
it's the game that sort of inspired both of those.
Right.
So yeah, it's kind of an apt description, and everything I've heard about it says it is a very, very faithful remake. Maybe too faithful because it still plays like the original did, which is clunky as all hell. But it's one of those. If you've got that nostalgia for it, it's nice to be able to just access it, play it on current hardware where it feels like it used to feel and looks like you remember it looking. Because that's a really hard one for a lot of the sort of 16-bit era. They look nothing like you remember.
So if you're a fan, definitely give that a peep. And that came out yesterday. This is the story we missed last week as it dropped minutes after we talked, but PlayStation's catalog. Now, my thoughts on this, a sort of not as great lineup this month. I mean, Red Dead 2 is a re-release. So this is the game that a lot of PS Plus owners already had in their catalog, and they're showing it off as their big release this month. Then we have Deceive Incorporated, I've never heard of. This expansion is
Fantastic
only
game.
if you own the game. So you have to own The Sims 4 first, and then you get access to this expansion.
The Sims 4 is free to play.
Is it free to play? I thought you had to purchase when I looked it up.
Once upon a time, yes, you did have to purchase it, but about 4 years ago, they made the base game free to play, so you only have to buy the expansion. So giving this expansion away means you've got more in your game. They've done a couple of The Sims expansions recently with EA, so it seems like there's a partnership forming there to give everybody everything on PlayStation, because Sims 5 is currently in development. The Deceive Inc. one is a fantastic multiplayer PvEVP game. You go in as a team, you're all trying to rob the same bank, you're all trying to get the same loot, and if you pick up said loot, you're then marked for everybody else on the map. But you have to be as stealthy as possible, blend in with the crowd, not be noticed, not make yourself obvious to the other players who are in the map also doing the same things, not trying to make themselves obvious. Very different take on the multiplayer aspect, and I really like how it plays. It's a very good game, would highly recommend, and it's starting to have that sort of downturn, so adding it to Plus and giving it a bit of an injection of new players, great idea.
All right, well, Dorgon has a different view on these games. We got Stranded Alien Dawn, which seems to be something that I'd never heard of, but could be interesting. Maybe a... But, like, that's what I mean. These are a lot of games I've never really heard of or that were not on my radar. Um, Watch Dogs is a re-release. And then we have
I mean,
some
you're saying they're
PlayStation
re-releases.
projects.
We have had some of these on PS Plus Essential previously, but there's a lot of
Right.
newcomers to PlayStation. You weren't here when some of these were given away on PlayStation. So you don't have access to them. You may have played them on different platforms. That's absolutely fine, but you don't have access to them through PlayStation. You've now got access to Red Dead Redemption 2 and
That's
Watch
true.
Dogs through PlayStation that you didn't have previously. So whilst they are older titles, both of them are incredibly high quality titles. I think Watch Dogs is an exceptional game. Red Dead Redemption 2 is an exceptional hair growth simulator. I don't think it's anything more than that. But yeah, it's a good month. It's just dependent what you've played before. Like we said last month, we haven't played loads of these. There's loads on here that we want to play. There were a couple of day and date releases. Just because last month was great for us doesn't mean this month isn't great for other people. There is some really high quality on there, and there's definitely games that I'm going to be jumping into as well, and that you will probably end up jumping into.
I mean, Red Dead Redemption 2 does have a great photo mode, so I'll be looking into getting that up on the PS5, so that'll be fun. All right. Well, I see last story time. PS4 and PS5 Mascot Brawler Multiverse is coming out on the 28th today of May, sorry, and they are reinventing their economy within the game. So if you have access to the game before, apparently you get access to season 1 completely for free. So I like to hear that. They're changing a lot of the monetizations, and it's looking like fighters and perks you'll be able to earn in game by playing the game, and it's more of this premium cosmetics that you'll be able to earn only through purchasing, which I like to see more of. Stick monetization only for the costumes and leave everything up to earn to play. So cool to see Multiverses. I think its re-release will draw in a lot of players. This is Super Smash Brothers in the WB universe, but multiplayer and crossplay. How do you feel about this one?
It's one of the weirdest stories going, isn't it? It's a game that released early last year, was really well received, mostly because we had Super Saiyan Shaggy, which everybody has been wanting for getting on for a decade, I feel. I don't know where Super Saiyan Shaggy came from. It's like I'm not even using 1% of my power, Scoob. like, so we got Super Saiyan Shaggy, but we had him fighting against Batman or Joker or Agent Smith or Neo, and it was such a weird smash up together, and then it suddenly disappeared because they wanted to rebuild it, remake it, retool some things, and now it's coming back. It's very, very odd setup, but it is a good game. Like you say, it's Smash Brothers for other platforms with some really cool characters. You've got Bugs Bunny in there, of course, which is always going to be fun. I think it's going to be good. I'm hoping its relaunch is the injection it needed to bring some competition into that sort of arena platform fighting space, because we don't have that many, and especially we have very few on PlayStation.
I would agree. The genre is lacking some diversity, and it being locked to Super Smash Bros. On Nintendo has left a lot of people out. So this is welcomed by a lot of gamers. Cool. And I believe that's all we have for this week in PlayStation. Of course, you'll want to tune into the PlayStation news. I'm just doing a double check to see if the announcement was made, but it seems to be not. Dorgon, why don't you tell people what's going on your channel?
Not a lot. I'm writing at the moment. I've got a couple of scripts in the works that are going to be coming out further down the line. There's 3 in operation at the moment. Whether it remains at 3 is another matter, but it's just older stuff if you want to go watch that. Duragon Talks, we put clips up every week of this show, so if you want to tune into something specific, head on over to Duragon Talks and you can find our Super PlayStation Brothers clips there. What about yourself, my friend? It's Wednesday. Is it family phasmophobia or family Fortnite?
Game
Why is
night.
everything a fur?
The Phasmophobia went in a certain direction that I did not like, so I'm transitioning back to family-friendly Fortnite.
Was it
That
scary?
there was a lot of monsters. But Fortnite's dropping a new season. I think they're doing a collab with Fallout. And plus they'll have fun carrying me, and there's a bit more action. So we'll enjoy some time there. Getting into Fortnite as per usual. So look out for that, as well as the download coming back up on Cloud&Console this Friday. Stay tuned for more content for sure.
Awesome sauce.
All right.
Well, time to thank these beautiful people and go on a merry way, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Thank you, everybody in chat, for coming out, hanging out with us. It has been awesome week, and we will be back next week with more PlayStation news. And sorry we haven't been able to get to everybody who's been shouting out in chat, but you guys have been absolutely epic, lighting up, I think, a record for Super PlayStation Bros on most chats ever made in a show. So big shout out to you guys. Thank you so much. And everybody watching on all the platforms, be sure to check us out on all our other socials. We have them, and we'd love to see you there. Otherwise, be kind, take care, and we'll see you next week.
Take care, guys. Bye.
Try to believe in me. Why try do I even need to? I die with the season leaves. I glide with the season breeze. True, my mind so easily spooked. I ride just to be the me. Oh, finds hype super decently smooth. Nice type, but as sick as beats.